All right, my fleshies, gather round before we sink our teeth into the truly grave matters of Mr. Burton's post-mortem stroll. I just want to say, it's dead good to have you here. Don't be a stiff. Stick around to the very end. I promise it'll be a killer tale. We're about to unearth some truly spooktacular details, so don't be undead-sighted about staying. It's going to be a ghoulishly good time, and I wouldn't want you to miss a beat. Or a heartbeat, for that matter. So let's dig in and enjoy the show. And now, his ending. Mr. Alec Burton, a third-year teacher, was on his way home from work when his car was struck by a semi. The car was totaled and nothing could have survived the crash. Alec, of course, didn't survive the crash. He suffered a broken right arm. A piece off the truck had impaled him through the chest. No mortal man could have survived his injuries. In fact, they didn't even bother taking him to the hospital. The EMTs confirmed him dead on the scene. They dropped him off at the morgue. No one could have guessed, though, what happens next. Alec was in the morgue and had been there for some time. His body had been identified, and they are set to deliver him to the funeral home so they could prepare him for burial. It's his second day in the morgue, and today something just feels off. Everything in the world would change today. Alec's body is lying still on the table when suddenly it stood up from the table. He walked to the mirror, and as he looked into the mirror, he let out a loud groan as he fixed his clothes as best he can. After fixing his clothes, he looks over at the table where his backpack, school ID, and wallets are all sitting. One by one, he picks them up with his left arm. Now he manages to walk out the emergency door and walks off. He knows where he's going. Heading, now that he is awake, if one calls this being awake, he's headed off to work. It's like he knows that he's supposed to be at work. Alec has been walking for a mile or so. People have been calling the police, and when the police do see him, they just assume he's someone dressed up in a costume. So they leave him alone. It's only when you see him up close that you become keenly aware that Mr. Burton is not alive. Those people walking the street with him switch to the other side in absolute horror. There appears to be lights on inside his skull, but trust me, there's nothing happening inside his skull. His body is acting purely on muscle memory. Kids and parents are running from him. The dead man continues walking along the path. The officers should have stopped him, but they didn't. Perhaps they are just watching him to see where he's going. Work continues to call to him. Even in death, he misses his classroom and his students. The school administration is working on finding a replacement for him, but in the meantime, there is a sub that has been called to fill in until they find a new teacher. Mr. Burton is much quieter than usual. because his brain doesn't exactly work the same anymore. Then again, he doesn't exactly smell the same either. No one wants to be around him. As he approaches the school, there appears to be a smile on his face because somehow he still retains memories of this place. He remembers how being there made him feel good. Now it's unknown why he's headed to school. Perhaps he doesn't know that he's dead. No one is sure why he's on his way there, but it's clear that he is. He crossed the street and is now on the sidewalk that leads to the school. Adults are trying to corral the kids to keep them from seeing him. No one wants to see him this way. It's a disturbing view for sure. His clothes are stained a reddish-brown color. His bruises are dark purple and scattered across his body. The deep wound in his chest is still visible from front and back, and you can see where the flesh has been torn from the object being removed. Blood has dripped down from the wound and discolored his clothes pretty badly. His right arm is obviously broken, and he's missing a few teeth as well. All the kids have been moved inside, away from the walking corpse. Somehow, though, he still manages to gain entry into the building. One of his girls sees him and starts to scream. Her screams do not stop him, though, and he continues to his classroom. The screams, however, were heard by the cops, who put him out of his misery. He's dead. Again. The coroner showed up and took him out on the gurney. They didn't even bother taking him to the morgue. Still to this day, no one knows how he managed to leave the table in the first place. There are people who claim they never saw him. Some who say he was a guy in a costume doing publicity for a Hollywood zombie movie. Alec's walk never even made the news. It was decided that no one wanted to be the reason that a panic was created. And I can understand what might have happened if someone had seen him up close. The good news is that as I'm typing this up in my blog, Alec is already being taken care of. His family had heard about the escape from the morgue, so they wanted to ensure he didn't leave his coffin. They decided to cremate him instead, and that is the truth of the matter. See you next week, my fans. The end. Well, my fleshies, that was a killer tale, wasn't it? It's not every day that a teacher who's dead ends up at school. Imagine your teacher being dead, and yet not dead. That's just wrong. A huge undead thank you to Nature Guy X46 for unearthing this story for us. He's not here to take a bow because he's currently digging up more fantastic stories for us. You understand, don't you? Say you do, Fleshy. Now fear not, for I, your humble narrator, am heading back to my tomb. Don't be a ghost and forget to rise up and subscribe for more spine-tingling stories. It'd be a grave mistake to miss out, and you wouldn't want to be left undecided about your next listen. Until next time, have a pleasant day. a pleasant night. And pleasant nightmares, Fleshies! Until next time, be afraid, Fleshies, 'cause fear is always a good thing. At least where I come from. See you later, Fleshies!